Hey guys, it's me, Kara. I hope everyone is having a great day, whether you are 5 hours away or a day away. Remember, I love you. Okay, so I'm making this video just because for the past 3 days or so, I've been in this dispute on Twitter about a tweet I had made about black men and Jorja Smith because if you go on Twitter, all you see is how, great Jorja Smith is, how fine she is, and that's okay. But it's funny how whenever there's a light-skinned, racially ambiguous singer who is obviously mixed race and she has like straight black hair or curly hair and she has hair that's considered good hair, black men will say, oh, she's so beautiful, she's so gorgeous, which again, it's fine. But I noticed that a lot of black men will only hang out with women that look like this. If you watch a lot of rap videos, even the babies videos, who I love, you'll see like mostly light-skinned girls with the baby hairs and the loose curls, natural loose curls, okay? Like their natural hair is clearly type 3 or even maybe 2C. Like clearly it's not 4C hair. And if there is, it's like they are in the background or it's just like an aesthetic, but they're not the main girls or they're shaking their asses. So I noticed that there is a pattern of people only attaching themselves to women who have one particular look: thin, light skin, long, hair, like natural long, like curly hair. They may have a straight nose. They may have a phenotype that may not be associated with traditional or indigenous African features, especially West African features, because it's not every West African or a West African descendant, but typically like West Africans tend to have like wide noses, full or big lips, broader features, and a lot of people associate darker skin and those features as inferior with scientific racism and European beauty standards. It's been a thing for centuries and centuries and centuries, probably even a millennium. Like it's been something that's been ingrained in us for a long time, since we were born. When you look at television and you see love interests, they are thin white women, or if they are women of color, they are light skinned. All the features that you see, and then y'all want to say, oh, well, they're just beautiful women. Okay, but when is the last time have you seen a black woman be referred to as a beautiful woman, and she wasn't Beyonce, or she wasn't like a token, or the few brown or dark skinned women that you may see like Angela Bassett, Kelly Rowland, Lupita Nyong'o? And these women, they do get a lot of accolades, but how many times have you seen someone that was visibly black be portrayed as beautiful at the same rate as someone like, say, Jorja Smith or Kalani, Janae Aiko? Like, just like, it's a racial thing. Like, it's like, come on, look at it. Like 3/4 of black women that are called beautiful are all one look. Like, come on, like, we're not stupid. I've been to high school, I was a kid before, we internalize these thoughts. Some of us grow out of it, some of us unlearn certain behaviors and traits, and then a lot of us won't admit it because a lot of us are embarrassed, because no one wants to just admit and say, yeah, I think an entire group of people are ugly as shit, because they know that it's a shitty thing, and they also know that it is a deal breaker for some people like me, because I talk to a lot of men who clearly don't want to admit that they have preferences. And it's funny how online we hear things like, oh, we have preferences, and, there's nothing wrong with preferences. But then in real life, when you ask these same men, do you have a preference? I don't have a preference. No, I don't have a preference. I love all types, even though all the women that they associate with, or the women crushes Wednesday. I'm sorry. I'm a little peeved. Like, I'm really upset, just because I'm so sick of people stalking me, going through my Instagram, pulling up pictures of my friends, of my co-workers, and say, here's this white man that you're with, so obviously you like white men. Like, that really bothered me, just because don't go on my fucking page and, do whatever the fuck you want with my pictures just because you're upset about the truth. That's the thing. I don't know what you did. You probably jacked the fuck off as you decided to say a bunch of hateful things about me because I attacked your light-skinned, racially ambiguous mixed queen. Like, don't don't do that shit, and don't pull up pictures of my friends or people you don't know just because you and your feelings as a cishet black man, because I said the unspoken rule that y'all think that the women that are light skinned with long hair, the high yellow women, okay, the yellow brothers are the best, the prettiest, and we hear it in your rap music. Now all of a sudden, oh well, that doesn't reflect all of us. But y'all listen to that shit. Y'all listen to that shit. Y'all be listening to that shit. Oh, YG don't reflect me. Kodak Black don't reflect me. Chris Brown don't. No, that they don't reflect me. But then when we say something about Chris Brown and he's an abuser, all of a sudden, oh well, people change. But then all of a sudden, when a black woman calls you out on it, particularly a black woman that you probably find fuckable, because I know how I appear to a lot of men. Like, I'm not stupid. So y'all try to backtrack. Oh no, that's not what I meant, or I don't want to talk about it. You know, like I'm having a conversation the other day with this man from Somalia, and you know, I understand East Africans versus West Africans, or Bantus versus Horners, where you know a lot of times people have this ideal that West Africans or people with Bantu features from Southern Africa are considered inferior, and people who are Habesha tend to have a certain look, but not everyone has that look. But people who may be from Somalia or from Ethiopia or Eritrea or Djibouti tend to like be brown and dark skinned, darker than me, and they may look black, but their nose tend to be straighter. Their eyes may be a little bit different. Some people may have loose textured hair. To be honest, like I hang out with all types of people of different nationalities. The families that I see look no different than the people in my family, okay? We have racially ambiguous people. We have people with 3C hair. We have people who are light skinned. So like, okay, there's a lot of East Africans who just come from a diverse family. Like that's not any different than African Americans, but like there's tensions between ethnic groups, there's tribalism. So I was talking to this guy and he was spending some gain on all this Afrocentrism, you know, black girls are beautiful. So I'm like, okay, you know, he was kind of cute. So when we was talking about diaspora issues and African issues like black relations, I brought up that, you know, there's this ideal that a lot of non-African Americans or people who come to America look down on African Americans, or there is this issue where like a lot of Somalis are anti-black, and he was willing to talk about how people from California don't like black women. But then when I brought that up, he was like, yeah, and then he changed the subject. Like he didn't want to talk about that shit. And I mean, I understand where he's coming from. You know, he ain't like trying to get into all that. He ain't trying to like create no type of tensions, especially when it's a mixed setting and we got people from all types of ethnic groups and we all just chilling. Ain't nobody trying to get into diaspora wars, you know, especially if you flirting with somebody that's clearly from a different ethnic group. You ain't trying to talk about that. You ain't trying to create no tensions. I understand that, but talking about it ain't gonna create any tension. I ain't gonna look at you any different if you were to just acknowledge that anti-blackness and colorism is an issue in your community as it is an issue in my community. I don't understand why I can admit the things that I did or other people do, but then y'all want to sit up here like, no, I don't feel this way. You know, I don't have a problem with dark-skinned women, and I ain't even dark-skinned yet. Anytime I talk about these issues, it's automatically, I don't have a problem with dark-skinned women. So that's how you know somebody is colorist, because whenever you say something about how someone like Jorja Smith is typically the standard of black womanhood, like light skin, thin, straight nose, like a certain phenotype, you got black men come out the woodworks like, I love my black queens, like you still can get hit. And it's like, okay, like fucking somebody don't mean you find them attractive or that you're willing to date them. Trust me, okay? There's men who will say that you're beautiful, that you're gorgeous, but realize, you're not really my type. I usually go for lighter. I mean, you're beautiful and all. I just don't really see myself with you. I don't see a future with you. That's a thing. And that happens to a lot of people who are fucked, or you got men flirting with them, but it's clear that they typically want to have a relationship with a light-skinned woman because they see light-skinned women as status. And people say, you know, you not even that dark, you light-skinned. So I asked like a couple of my friends who are African, you know, what would you consider me to be? And they said, oh, I would consider you caramel. Like you're not light skinned, but you're not dark skinned, but you're not so light that I can't tell that you're black, and you're not so light that I would assume that you're mixed. So that's what they were saying. And he said, you know, you're like a caramel, you're brown skin. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. You know, I've talked to another friend who was from Rwanda last year, and I had gotten a tan, and she said, you're not light skinned, you're dark. Because at that moment, I was dark. I had gotten an extreme tan. You know, when I step out into the sun and it's very hot, you know, I get really, really dark. Like, it's no in between. Like, I have my highs and my lows. Like, when it's wintertime, I get light. When it is summertime, I get dark. Like, some people are like that because my dad is dark skinned. The majority of the people in his family are dark skinned. So it's like when the sun hits, it like remembers, okay, you got the dark skin gene. Time to be dark skinned, you know, to protect you from the sun and all of that, because it acts as a natural sunscreen. That's what a tan does. But anyway, like, men a lot of times don't want to admit like their preference, because I had asked my friend, you know, we were talking about like what tribe that we come from. So I said, you know, what part of Africa, you know, does it look like I come from? You know, because I'm expecting people to say like West Africa or Southern Africa. And he just looked at me and said, you look beautiful, queen. That's all he said. And a couple of guys like answered. They said, you know, you look like American. I don't know what that means. Like, obviously I look West African. Like, a lot of people say I look Nigerian. Like, I could be like a lighter skinned Igbo. But he just kept saying, you look beautiful, queen. And then he kind of looked annoyed. Like, I don't even want to like talk about it, because I feel he thought if I were to say that she's like Nigerian or like West African, she would take that as an insult, because a lot of people do look at people who are of West African descent as like ugly Africans, and that is not true. Like, that is definitely not true. You know, I find East Africans attractive, I find North Africans attractive, I find Southern Africans attractive, Central Africans, West Africans attractive. But we know, due to scientific racism, when we talk about features and phenotype, like, people assume that someone who is like East African, particularly from the Horn of Africa, are more attractive because their features align with European scientific racist ideals of genetic superiority or attractiveness. I mean, they still face anti-blackness and colorism. I'm not denying that, but like there's just so many issues when we talk about light versus dark, or when we talk about featureism, which means discriminating against someone based off of their perceived racial phenotype, or based off of how wide their nose is, or how wide their lips are, or how wide their forehead is. I mean, like, it goes both ways. You know, people say, you know, East Africans are ugly. People say that about, you know, people like who have features that are considered different. I've heard it both ways. So it's still anti-blackness if you're making fun of somebody's features just because they may like have like a big nose, or they may have a wide forehead, or they may have big lips. Like, it's still anti-blackness because you are attacking features that are common within an ethnic group. But with that in mind, with the whole Jorja Smith situation, all I said was Jorja Smith is clearly the type of black woman or mixed race woman that black men perceive as elite, the most attractive, not because she's actually beautiful, but because she has all of the components that give her an added bonus to her already beauty. Because she is light skinned, because she has like, you know, long black hair, or she has the braids, but she clearly has greasy hair. Like, my hair is like wavy right now. Like, I got like box braids, and it's like kind of half wavy, half braided, but you can clearly see like the roots is fucking nappy as shit. You can clearly see like my hair, I do not have fine hair. Like, you can clearly see my roots at the top. So I think that has a lot to do with it. And when I brought that up, I just had so many people just angry, like irate, because they felt like, well, you can't say that, and that's not even true, and blah, 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 and how dare you align me with these type of people. And I feel like part of that is guilt, because they at one time thought that, but instead of just saying, yeah, I thought that, they feel like, well, I can just get with the trend and start being woke, start being pro-black, start loving my melanin queens. And you can usually tell who just started liking black women like last year, or who was actually unlearning their behavior for years and years. I ain't saying everybody's perfect, but you can tell who just started liking black women because, you know, it no longer became the social norm or the expectation to shit on black women for fun, or because they started fetishizing them because of the representation of, you know, Instagram thick, you know, big booty, Megan Thee Stallion, Bria Miles, you know, slim, thick, you know, big booty, double D's, all of that. And it's stopped coming like it stopped being black girls are ugly, retreat to make a black girl mad, you know, dark skinned girls are ugly, and it's like, okay, first white girls, or first light skinned girls and white girls, then Asian girls and Latina girls, and then black girls at the end, you know. And it was so normal in 2012 and 2013, and I'm not gonna pretend that I didn't have certain sentiments, but I did not go out of my way to harass people or to make people feel bad because of the way that they looked. Like, even at my most self-hate, I never participated in dark skin slander. I never was the one to sit there and say, ha ha ha, that's so funny. Like, because I thought that was disgusting, because I have dark skinned people in my family. I'm not the lightest, so why would I sit up here and make fun of black people because their skin is too dark when I am someone who isn't even dark skinned, and I myself was told that I was too dark, or called a nigger, or called a monkey, or told to bleach my skin. So why would I sit up here and say, oh yeah, that bitch is, you know, she ugly as fuck, she burnt, you know? And that's why I don't like Maya Jama, because she was one of those people that were saying those things as well, and now she's trying to act like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, I love me some ducky thoughts. And I feel like the difference between a light-skinned woman and a white woman is that white women who fit a certain beauty standards, like the blonde, blue eye, you know, pretty popular girl look, they won't let you in their circle. They are very exclusive on who they want in their circle. With light-skinned black girls, it's kind of like 50-50. Like, they'll let you in their circle, but you can't question their privilege. You can't question their desirability. You can't question how they are seen among black men. If you do, then, oh my God, you're a bitch. Oh, fuck you, bitch. It's not even true. Like, why can't you just be pretty and, you know, be second tier to us? You know, you're not even ugly, but you ain't better looking than us. And that's the comments I've gotten on Jorja Smith's post about, oh, well, you're not ugly, she's just better than you. So basically it's like, oh yeah, we'll still fuck you, you know, like, you still fine and all, but you ain't like light, and you ain't like, you know, we know that you ain't mixed, and we know that you don't have the look that is common in media to be shown as beautiful. So it's like, you know, while you fuckable and you fine as hell, you know, you ain't like light skin fine, you ain't like mixed white non-black fine, you just a typical regular black girl hood fine. You know, that's the type of impression I get from like black men a lot of times. Like, ooh girl, you thick, ooh you a fine karma, ooh you sexy as hell, you know, you beautiful. But it's like, not universal, okay? Like, I know what y'all trying to say, like, oh, you ain't universally pretty, you know, you only pretty in one little niche, okay? But you ain't mainstream. And that's what I get. Like, I get that a lot, and you're not fooling me. I'm not impressed. I am not moved. I do not want to be your exception. I do not want to be your pretty for a black girl, okay? And I think that's what makes a lot of people angry, is that when they would try to make jokes about black women or fat women or dark-skinned women, I wouldn't think it's funny, because it wasn't funny. It was racist. It was anti-black. So when I looked at them like, do you not know that I'm black too? They said, okay. So I said, I'm black. Okay, but like, she's dark-skinned and she's fat. Okay, but I'm black, and my dad's black and dark-skinned, and I have black women in my family who are dark-skinned and fat. Okay, so I don't understand. They said, well, like, I didn't mean it like that. And you're like, yes, you did. And I'm gonna shout out my friend, but it reminds me of my friend who talked about how this girl said that she didn't like Mexicans, and my friend is African American and Mexican of African and Native descent, and she looked at her like, my mom is Mexican, so obviously you don't like me if my mom is Mexican and you don't like Mexicans. And her friend said, oh my God, I didn't mean it that way. But it's like, yeah, you did. So you hate a part of me. You hate who I am. Like, I don't care if you don't got the dark skin. Don't sit there and say some anti-black shit in front of a black person and expect them to be okay with it because, oh, it's said about a dark-skinned person. Like, you ain't even that dark. Like, I don't play with that shit. My dad didn't play with that shit. Nobody in my family played with that shit. So why should I play with that fucking shit? People would have beat my ass if I would have said something about my own skin tone. My grandpa, who was a light-skinned man, would have beat my ass if I said, I don't want to play in the sun, I don't want to get too dark. Okay, like, he said, go out and play in the sun, I don't care. Like, they would have beat my fucking ass. My aunt, who's light-skinned and high yellow as fuck, would have beat my fucking ass. Like, that's something that ain't part of our family. So, like, why would I be okay with that? You know, you got to be raised right. You got to teach your kids to love themselves, even if they don't love themselves, but you have to instill them in them. So eventually, like, they can grow up to learn, that, they was right. I shouldn't act like this. And the difference is accountability and trying to avoid this whole, oh, well, that ain't even true, and you're just insecure and you're jealous. And it's like, okay, so if Black women have never been considered ugly in their entire lives, no one in society thinks Black women are unattractive because of their nose or their skin tone or their hair texture, then why do I come into work with my natural hair out, like my 4C hair, and you got white co-workers saying things like, oh, you're so beautiful, I love your natural hair, I wish you wore your hair more, do you not like your natural hair? Just this paternalistic infantilization, this attitude where, oh, I know how you Black girls are insecure about your natural hair, but you're beautiful. Or this whole, you have beautiful brown skin, I love your skin. Your skin is so beautiful. I know how, a lot of you girls don't like your skin, but you have beautiful natural skin. Like, you don't even need a tan. You already are beautiful, and it reminds me of Everybody Hates Chris with the white teacher who wasn't racist. She meant well. She didn't know a lot of Black people. She just knew what she heard on the media and what she thought they were. So whenever she would try to reach out to her student, Chris Rock's character, she would say things that were off the wall, like, I know your family poor as hell, and I know they own some food stamps, and, your daddy got like 8 kids, but, you gonna make it, and, I understand, like, that type of thing. We're just like, what are you talking about? That's not even true. Like, you got white women and even Black men alike, especially like the light-skinned men or like the mixed men that will say things like, I don't understand why you don't like your hair. I mean, like, I understand, like, your hair, it's a little bit hard to maintain, but you should embrace your hair. And it's just like, I'm just wearing braids. Okay, I'm wearing crochets. So where did you get this idea that I don't like my hair? Like, but, because I know a lot of Black women are insecure, and I know how the media kind of looks at you guys, but you're very beautiful. I get things like that. I even, like, had that conversation with a bunch of Black men, oh, you're so beautiful, queen. You're so gorgeous, like, you should know that you are beautiful and Black. It's like, why do you have to remind me of these things if these things that I say aren't true? I want to know, like, why do you feel the need to remind me that I'm beautiful? Why do you need to remind me that my hair is beautiful? I've never even met you in my life. And it's like, you come up to me on some, your hair is beautiful. Why don't you like it? Because you know that people like me or dark-skinned women are not I'm not even dark-skinned. I'm not trying to conflate my experience to dark-skinned women, but clearly I'm visibly Black. Like, no doubt that I am Black. So, like, visibly Black women who are brown or dark-skinned, who have, like 4C hair, wide nose, and full lips, are not represented on TV as much as light-skinned people who are mixed race or racially ambiguous, or light-skinned women of color, or white women, of course. You know that, and you're projecting, and you're guilty, and you have to, like, compliment a Black woman to make yourself feel better about the fact that you at one time perpetuated those ideals. Like, these over compliments I get from some white women, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful, oh my God, you got beautiful hair. Like, why do you need to say that? You know why? Because you know how it is, but you don't want to admit it because you are so comfortable in your privilege, or you are so comfortable in your status as a man to have light skin or white women on your arm, that you don't want to take the time to unlearn. But yeah, you looking up pictures of me with Jack Harlow, who from Louisville, Kentucky. Like, come on, man. Like, I can't have white male friends. Like, you found 2 pictures of me with a co-worker and a rapper that I don't even know like that, and say you like white men. Okay, but y'all like Mac Miller, okay? All right, y'all like Snow Allegra, right? Y'all like Alina Baez. Y'all like Sabrina Claudio until you found out that she hated Black girls and called us niggers. Okay, I'm sure you got some fans of, I'm sure you a fan of someone that's white. And you probably would take a picture. If Mac Miller was alive, you'd take a picture with him quick. Okay? So many of y'all be standing white people. Okay, I know you got some white co-workers that you cool with. Oh, they cool people, they really cool. They ain't racist. They cool, like they cool. You got white friends like that. So what's the problem? You so mad that I brought up the fact that Black men prefer Jorja Smith types that you want to sit there and look up me liking white men and make yourself feel better, that you like pretty much Black girls who are like the poor man version of white women, because you can't get a white woman. So you got to settle for someone who's light-skinned and high yellow. And that's the thing. Like, y'all look at light-skinned girls as poor man's white women, just like I'm looked at as a poor man's light-skinned girl. Like, a lot of times people say, you're not light skinned, but you're so beautiful and all of that. Like I'm looked at as like a there's always gotta be something, or like dark skinned girls are seen as like brown skin. You ain't even dark, you brown skin and all that, and you ain't even brown skin, you light skin. Like it's a system of just this whole Black women are treated just because of how they look, like they're mistreated and they're bullied for it. And to sit there and say that it's not violent and it's just about men wanting to see them as pretty, no, like you don't understand the psychological and physiological effects it has on Black women. And I am not willing to explain that because it is too much. Like I can go on for hours and hours on how damaging it is for Black women and girls. I can go on the violence and the femicide Black women face in different parts of the world and even here because of the fact that they are dark skinned by men within their own group, by police officers, police brutality. I can go into all of those things. So it's not just, oh, you just want a man to find you attractive. It's just the fact that I'm not going to continue to be mistreated and seen as inferior and talked down to just because you don't find me attractive. That's all it is. I am not going to be treated like I'm a second-class citizen. You are going to respect me. You have to respect people even if you don't find attractive. Like as so many times as I had to be nice to men I didn't find attractive. Like my Lyft driver the other day pissed me off. Like he's being nice, giving me gum, letting me play music. So then as I'm getting out the car, he's like, oh, are you going to give me your number? And then he kind of looks at me and then I hear the door click. So like he locked it so I could like be put in a compromising situation where I had to give my number, and I reported him for that. And then they not even gonna give me a refund, and then they're gonna say, oh, we warned him, if he were to do it again, then he's gonna lose his job. Like, okay, so y'all don't take flirting and harassment seriously, I see. Like y'all think, oh, it's harmless. It ain't fucking harmless. You supposed to do your job. You not supposed to be flirting with customers. You not. And as somebody said, you give numbers or you get numbers when you are asked. If a customer says, hey, you know, I want to get to know you, can I have your number? You know, that's fine. But if you someone that's doing your job and you asking customers for numbers, especially in a car like that in an intimate setting, that's fucked up. Like I've been in so many situations where men try to like force themselves onto me or try to like force me to be their partners. Like, oh, my Lyft driver even said, oh, you my boyfriend now, when he asked me, or he said, I'm your girlfriend. He said, I'm sorry, I talked so fast. It's that Southern Appalachian accent coming out. He sat there and said, oh, I'm your boyfriend now, and do you want something to eat? I said, no, it's okay, sir. Like, the fuck? And it's like, don't do that. Black men are the main ones in the Black community, because I don't care about anybody else. You see I'm Black, okay. They are the main ones that get in their feelings if a Black woman they find attractive don't want them, and then they know that they are not wanted. So they push onto them and they start, you know, kissing on them like when they clearly don't want it. Like I've had situations like that happen to me, especially this weekend. I'm probably gonna go into that later. It's like, you know, they don't want you. You know that they like somebody else or that they are interested in somebody else, but you gonna push yourself onto them anyway. You gonna try to power through it anyway. And that's a lot of men. Like, you mad because a woman spoke out against the fact that you guys only see women like Jorja Smith as attractive. Like, they are the only women that you will like and follow. And then y'all still fuck us, but it's clear that you don't really respect us, or you don't see us as viable partners of status or to be on your arm. So you kind of discard us, and then you're probably going to end up with someone lighter or someone more ambiguous or someone not even Black. And you're mad about that and say, oh, I can't believe you Black women are so hateful and insecure, when you guys literally assault men because you want a woman that they have, or because another woman that you find attractive likes them. Like, I have to deal with so many jealous men because I like one man, and because I don't like them or I'm not paying attention to them and I'm paying attention to their homeboy, they want to make something up about how I'm weird. Like, this man had a nerve to tell this man that I was weird and, you know, all this stuff when he was trying to kiss on me and he was offering me money just to fuck him. He said, I'll give you money if you'll let me hit it. And then had a nerve to say that I was weird and all that, like talking mad shit just because I rejected his advances, or I was told by this man that I was so mean and, you know, I needed to stop being antisocial just because, you know, I didn't want him to touch me or kiss me, that if I wanted a boyfriend, I would have to let him touch and kiss me. And I said, bitch, I don't even want to be your girlfriend because you ugly as hell. But, you know, I had to be nice. You know, it was like a Stephen King Misery situation with Michael Caine, where he had to be nice to Annie, Kathy Bates' character. And he's like, are you okay, Annie? Like, acting like he gave a shit about her. But he's like, bitch, I got to get up out of here because this bitch is unhinged and she going to kill me. That was the situation I had all weekend. Again, I went on this tirade, but I have to like get off soon. But as I was saying, like, I'm so sick of this conversation of Jorja Smith and black men, because you can talk about it and then people want to get defensive and then derail and deflect and talk about, well, in 1994 you said white boys were cute or white girls were pretty, or, you know, in 1996 you didn't want to play with Scary Spice. You want to play with Baby Spice or Pot Spice. So obviously it is totally the same thing as my saying red bones are hot in fucking 2017. And God forbid you say something in 2012. Oh, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. I'm at 25 talking about how I felt at 15, being honest, being like vulnerable and talking about my own reflections of myself. Hey, you use that against me. But yeah, someone brings up something Maya Jama says, or what someone said, like Cardi B, what she said about dark-skinned girls being roasted. Oh, that was a long time ago. She's changed. Chris Brown changed. But yeah, a black woman can't change because you're so angry that she's not letting you in her space because she knows that you at one time thought that she was ugly as hell. Like, I literally sat there and heard people say, oh, I can never date a black girl. Like, I just don't find black girls attractive. Now it's, oh, it's not that I don't find black girls attractive. It's just a preference. And, or, well, I never said that they weren't attractive. I never said that they were ugly, even though that was something you said loud and clear in 2012. Like, even when I did have a white boy phase, I heard black boys say the same thing. So it's like every man is based off anti-black beauty standards. Y'all want to say, well, it's not just black men. Yeah, because anti-blackness and colorism and misogyny war is global, and beauty standards are based off of how far from black and African you are, you fucking idiots. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick and tired of it.